Check out this headline. Jann Wenner says women and black artists were not intellectually articulate enough to be interviewed for his new book of rock star interviews. Let's get into this one. Jann Wenner, the founder of Rolling Stone, though he no longer runs that publication, and co-founder of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which he has also stepped aside, has a new book coming out. It's called The Masters, and it features Wenner's interviews with 7 iconic rock stars: Bono, Bob Dylan, and the late Jerry Garcia, Mick Jagger, and the late John Lennon, Bruce Springsteen, and Pete Townsend. To promote the Masters, he did a New York Times Q&A with David Marchese, a brilliant interviewer who famously does not shy away from posing the awkward and sometimes combative questions to famous people, saying the things we're all thinking or the thing we wish we'd have thought of. Wenner is rightfully catching a lot of stuff today for the interview, mainly because of his stance that he only interviewed white men for his book because, in his estimation, there were no women and minorities who were intellectually articulate as the philosophers of rock chosen for this project. In the introduction to his book, Wenner writes that performers of color and women performers were not his zeitgeist, which led to some questions from Marchese about why he chose the subjects that he chose. Let me tell y'all, this is the reason why I really don't choose white male authors anymore, because they're not writing for me. They're not writing for me as a black woman. But let's just continue. So this is what he says. The selection was not a deliberate selection. It was kind of intuitive over the years. It just fell together that way. The people had to meet a couple criteria, but it was just my kind of personal interest and love of them. Insofar as the women, just none of them were as articulate enough on this intellectual level. When Marchese pushed back, "You're telling me Joni Mitchell is not articulate enough on an intellectual level?" Wenner says, "It's not that they're not creative geniuses. It's not that they're inarticulate, although go have a deep conversation with Grace Slick or Janis Joplin. Please be my guest. You know, Joni was not a philosopher of rock and roll. She didn't, in my mind, meet that test. Not by her work, not by other interviews she did. The people I interviewed were the kind of philosophers of rock. A black artist, Stevie Wonder, genius, right? I suppose when you use a word broad as masters, the fault is using that word. Maybe Marvin Gaye or Curtis Mayfield, they just didn't articulate at that level." Just digging a hole, just digging a hole. And how does Wenner know that if he didn't give these people a chance to speak? Because I read interviews with them. I listened to their music. Look at what Pete Townsend was writing about, or Jagger, or any of them. They were deep things about a particular generation, a particular spirit, and a particular attitude about rock and roll. Not that the others weren't, but these were just the ones that were really articulate. Guys, they were really articulate. Y'all, he apologized already. He apologized yesterday. Okay, Jann Wenner apologizes for saying black and female musicians aren't articulate enough for his book. So he's come out already with an apology. Y'all, just don't buy this book. Don't download it. Don't do it. If you are a black person, a woman, or anybody that actually supports black people or women. Okay, this is what Wenner said. "In my interview with the New York Times, I made comments that diminish the contributions, genius, and impact of black and women artists, and I apologize wholeheartedly for those remarks. The Masters is a collection of interviews I've done over the years that seem to me to best represent an idea of rock and roll's impact on my world, my white male world. They were not meant to represent the whole of music and its diverse and important originators, but to reflect the high points of my career as a white man, and the interviews I felt illustrated the breadth and experience in that career that I, as a white man, decided was important. They don't reflect my appreciation and admiration for the myriad of totemic, world-changing artists whose music and ideas I revere and will celebrate and promote as long as I live. I totally understand the inflammatory nature of badly chosen words and beliefs, obviously, and deeply apologize. He deeply apologizes, y'all, and he will accept the consequences. The consequences should be to pull all support for people like this who consistently diminish women and minorities. Just stop supporting them. Just stop supporting them. Don't read their stuff. Don't play their music. Don't give them any kind of coins because they are not writing for you. They are not writing for you. This man says it. We weren't important. Women and minorities were not important enough to even consider in a book about rock and roll. So, yeah, I just wanted to show y'all that I love social media and how quickly these people are outed. They're outed because they need to be outed, but they need to be outed so you can pull your support immediately. Vote with your dollars. Y'all go ahead, jump in the comments, tell me what you think, like, comment, share.